right. Go here. Should be good. All right. What do we got today? Let's go over to here. Chat away, folks. Let's see how this looks. Device monitor. Not the best size, but we'll take it. That should do that. Okay. All right. How do you get your Zen serial number to get a role in Discord? That would be over here. So your Zen serial number is on your Zen right here. As long as you have Zen Studio open, it's right down here in the bottom right. That's your serial number. But to start with, you need to, sign up. You'll have a sign up for an account thing over here. You can even see that in the guide over here. If you hit, join the Cronus community, it'll walk you through all the steps. You got to register for a forums account, and then, hit that register here thing, and then you can head over to Discord and link them together, and you'll be good to go. Yeah, no problem. What else we got? to programmer. We don't need Rogue Company anymore. There we go. How about if you want to learn to script? Well, there is even a section in the guide for that. So GPC's script guide right up here at the top. If you hit that, it'll kind of walk you through learning how to script. You know, it'll explain what a GPC is, the syntax of scripting, right? Go through all of that kind of stuff. How to, you know, nest your code blocks, and it'll get into some some more advanced stuff. But you know, here's a tutorial of how to go through it and kind of what the different things are. It goes into what variables are, but everything GPC structure. You just go through this and kind of, you know, kind of walk yourself through, and it's just trial and error, really. Just kind of getting in there and creating a script until you get it going. But there's a lot. It goes into almost everything. So, you know, advanced samples, right? Custom OLED buttons, things like that. It's really advanced. Is there anyone who can help make scripts for a game you want scripts in, or does it cost? No. Well, you should never pay for scripts, first of all. There's likely always already going to be a script. Like, do you have a game in mind that you want the script for? Like, if it's not in this programmer tab, if it's not one of these games, as you can see, there's a lot that I'm scrolling through there. You can go over to the library, and there's even more here, right? And you can search down here in the bottom and look for the game that you're looking for. There's probably already a script for it. If you want a script made, there is a channel in Discord where you can request that kind of stuff in the Cronus Zen Discord, and you can request scripts there. What else we got? Yeah, you're very welcome. Let's go out of this. All right. More questions. Keep them coming. Do. Does anyone know a VC gen for 2K? I mean, you're likely just gonna, you know, I'm sure there's, look here, look, they're kind of right here. There's Basketball 22, Xbox Series generator, Xbox One generator. I'm pretty sure these are kind of what you're looking for, so give those a shot. Yeah, go for it. Just plugged in mouse MK switch about 5 minutes ago, and the button is not changing from PC to Zen. You have one you have one Zen and two PC and a 5-volt port. LED light on the switch stays on PC. I mean, maybe the button's not working. So if you plug it in and you go in over here into Zen Studio, do you see your devices over here? Your keyboard, your mouse, your pass-through controller, all of that stuff? Your brother yesterday was trying to use your Zen for Fortnite on PC, but Fortnite got an anti-cheat to kick him out every time he tries to use a script. Does it not work for PC? It works for PC. What you're going to want to do is, there's always, there's always risk when using the Zen, but when you're selecting the game packs you want to use here, look for these ones with the little green check mark in the top left corner. It's hard to see on my screen, but there's a little green check mark there. That just means that the game pack's been tested for at least 24 hours before it went live to the community without any issues. So always make sure you're just using the most up-to-date game packs. You haven't updated the Cronus in some time. Also tried to update it to the latest, but nothing pops up. So are you using... Here, we'll go over here. This will be a little bit easier to show. So when you go... Make sure this port, this console PC port right here, this needs to be connected to your PC when you're updating. And then you'll hold this blue button down here at the bottom before you plug it into your PC. And then once you do that, the screen will say bootloader mode. And then that's when you'll be able to update the firmware. How do you install something from the library? Well, let's see. So basically, so from the library. So say I wanted to use this Resident Evil script from the library here. You hit the save button right here. That'll save the script into your compiler. Once the script's here in your compiler, you can go to your programmer and then, where did it go? There it is. Oh. Where was the button? Oh, GPC scripts. There you go. So you go to your programmer tab, and then you'll hit this little pancake type of menu, hamburger menu that says GPC scripts, and then there's that GPC script that we have in our compiler, and then you just drag it down to a port, and then you'll hit the save button right there, and then that's it. If it doesn't show any devices in Studio, how does it show if you connected your keyboard and mouse directly to the Zen? It does show if you connect. So where do you have the... Here, we'll do it over here. Just so we are on the same page. Here's our mouse and keyboard setup guide. We're going to set up mouse and keyboard. This connection, so I'm assuming this is the exact one you have, and it's not switching between the two. I just want to make sure you have this Zen one, it's coming over and it's plugged into the right port, right? So those front 4 ports are all your mouse and keyboard devices, and then this connects to the A1, A2 port. So either one of these front 2 ports here, that's where you have to make sure your mouse and keyboard or your USB cable from your switch is connected to. So I would start with usually A3 works best, but it should work with either one. And then A1 over here is where your controller, your pass-through controller will be. All right. You try that, but it still doesn't work. To get it, so does it even go into bootloader mode? So we go back to the guide here. What should say, it shows that you need to have this port connected to your PC. We don't need that blown up that big. Where did I? Oh yeah, firmware. Yeah, so you gotta have this CMU, the update tool, CM update tool. That's a different download. So that's outside of your Zen Studio. You'd go to the Cronus website to get that. Is that what you're trying to use to update your firmware? You follow the steps and updated the Cronus Zen firmware and new Zen Studios, and you did a full reset of the Cronus and Zen Studios, but you can't access the Programmer tab. Is it just grayed out, or what's it telling you? Is it saying anything? Why does your Zen turn off like every 20 to 30 minutes on PS5? You hit the reset to do it. Do you mean turn off, or is it disconnecting your controller? Those are two very different things. How do you use a keyboard and mouse on PS5? The same way you would just, you would go, it's easier for you if you want to start, you'll go to, let me switch screens again, this mouse and keyboard setting in the guide. But basically, those front two ports are where your mouse is connected to, right? The switcher is really, really nice if you use PC, but it's not really needed for consoles. Here's your list of keyboards that are compatible. Some of them have special like BIOS modes that you have to dance around in, so you really want to make sure that you're in the right view there, or you're out of that BIOS. Excuse me. But then after that, after you get all of your mouse and keyboards connecting here, you can see all the devices, everything looks good. Then you can go over to your system. You'll pick PlayStation 5, and then you're going to pick a way to connect. So you have specialty mode, you have online remote play, you have local remote play, and then there's the new beta PS5 connection, which is really cool, and it doesn't use remote play, so highly recommend trying that. You're also going to want to make sure that your mouse and keyboard are connected here to A2 and A3, but also that your PlayStation 5 controller is connected over here to A1. It goes to bootloader mode, but it does not show on your PC. Do you have the update tool running? If you go back to the previous Cronus Zen firmware and Zen Studios, it all works great, but as soon as you update to the new beta, you lose the ability to access the Programmer tab. I have not seen that being an issue, to be honest. Do you play PS5? What I would say is if you don't play PS5, the new beta is pretty specific to PS5. The biggest thing is that it adds that PS5 beta feature. So if you need to go back to the previous one, you can do that. Just a quick question. Do any of you guys know if you can get banned for using the Zen in Overwatch console? You can get banned for many, many, many reasons. Like I was saying earlier, it's best to when you're picking your game packs, just make sure you're using the most up-to-date one, right? It has that little green check mark. That means that it's been tested for at least 24 hours with no issues. So make sure you're using the most up-to-date one. Let's see. Disconnecting controller every 5 to 10 minutes. That is probably on PlayStation 5, I'm assuming, Wilson. And to get around that, you're going to need to be connected through a valid method, right? So you're going to go here to the guide, pick PlayStation 5, and then choose one of these methods that you want to use for connecting. Specialty is kind of an older method. Doesn't work on many new games, if any at all. So you probably won't be able to use it for that. For any newer games, unless you play the PS4 versions of them on your PS5. But then there's online remote play, where you use, you know, the like the Chia Key software to run remote play. There's local remote play, which is more streamlined, but it uses the B-loader device right here. Right, so you're gonna have to get one of those B-loaders, or there's the PS5 beta, which just came out a few days ago, week ago maybe, but this just uses a new way that the Zen was able to connect to the PS5 directly. So with no peripheral devices, with you know, no remote play. Pretty neat feature. I mean, when you try to open the menu, it won't open no more on the Zen because of the PS5 controller didn't detect it sometimes. Ooh. Let me think. Yeah, that's interesting, honestly. Well, I'm not sure. So you definitely have to have the CM updater tool, the Collective Minds update tool. You have to have that open, and then you throw your Zen into bootloader. I think you could do it either way, but definitely want to make sure that it's in bootloader first. Launch the update tool, and it should show your Zen up in there. Grayed out saying device is disconnected. All right, so device is disconnected. Another great spot in the guide. So, unstoppable. Yeah, here. It's easier just to search for it. Device disconnected. No, that's the device tab. Wrong one. Controller device disconnected. There it is. So, you know, here's the guide for it. Basically, what you want to do is usually with most issues, a hard reset fixes them. I've even noticed with a lot of them, just hitting the reset button on the bottom of the Zen, the little blue button right here, just hitting that will reset it, and it fixes a lot of issues. So definitely try that. Try a hard reset where you hold the two front blue buttons. Right. So device disconnected. If Zen Studio gives the error device disconnected, then you need to focus on the prog cable. So your prog cable's on your right side. It's this one here. It's the mini USB cable. So that could be loose. It could be a bad cable. It could be that you need to really push it in there. So sometimes they come loose, and I know when I put my prog cable in, I can hear it kind of snap into place. So don't be afraid to put the cable in there. Play Rainbow Six Siege and you set up your Zen for anti-recoil and it works perfectly. However, am I supposed to be pulling down on my controller because that seems to ruin my aim? So the anti-recoil works, but you have to pull down on your controller. Is that what you're saying? A lot of anti-recoil values are base values. Are we still on? Yeah, we're still on here. So if we go over to Rainbow Six Siege, we'll go to the 32-bit. We'll go to anti-recoil. Right. So this will tell you all about anti-recoil, how to set it up. Ooh, I don't know why that's going crazy like that. There it goes. It loaded now. Make sure it's enabled. That's the first thing. A lot of mods come disabled right when you install them. So make sure that it's enabled. So obviously if it's not enabled, it's not going to work. But also you want to make sure your weapon profiles are set up, right? So the Zen doesn't know what gun you have in your hand in the game. So you want to make sure that the gun you have in your hand is the one that shows up on your OLED on your Zen, right? So if you're using an SMG, whatever the name might be for that SMG, you want to make sure that that's what it says on your Zen, and that's what you have in your hand in the game. Because if they don't match, then your anti-recoil is not going to work. Hey, Charlie. How do you fix device not connected to Zen Studio? It's because your device was not connected using the prog cable. There you go. You created a troubleshooting page for every possible problem. That is very true. And it's one of the things that I use on these streams all the time. And I try to show everybody where all that stuff is. Your prog cable connected to the plug is on the left side of the Zen. It should be on the right side of the Zen. The plug on the left side of your Zen is for your controller. It is right here. This prog cable, that's on the right side of your Zen. This A1 port's what's on the left side of your Zen. That's for your pass-through controller or whatever controller you're playing with, things like that. You don't understand why people are saying that they're getting a warning in COD and you've been playing for over a month with absolute no warning after the updated game pack. Yeah, that's why you want to use the updated game packs. Yep, use the one with the green check mark. I know it's hard to see on this screen, but the check mark is right here. It's in this little corner. Once you drop it down, you'll see it there. Also, if you go to the guide and you go to the game packs page, they all have a green check mark here too, just so you know which ones are ready to go. Huge green banner, absolutely. If you unplug the USB cable to your PC on MK switch, the light goes to the Zen and registers your devices on Zen Studio, but as soon as you plug it into USB into the PC, it changes to PC and won't switch with the button. It sounds like your button might be broke. I mean, if it registers everything else, that might be the button's broken. You just got a Zen and your Zen connects to your computer, but the firmware is 0.00 and fails to update. All right, that's a good one. That's Mac, or again, we'll go ahead and type in the good old 0. I think it's 00, right? Is that how it's listed in the guide? Or it's 000. There it is. 000. I knew it was one of those. So let's see what the guide says. Firmware problems. If your Zen firmware is displaying 0.0.0, does the update tool say device is not found? Does your firmware is incompatible with Zen Studio? So it's basically, a device is not found. It tells you, make sure you're connected, make sure you're connected with the correct cable. I think this is probably one of the things we see the most in terms of errors is the cable's not being plugged in. So the first step generally when you're setting up your Zen is to connect and update your firmware, but that's also not the port that it uses to speak with Zen Studio. So in this case, you want to make sure it's still this back port that you use when you're updating your firmware, right? As it says, the OLED screen should have the Gearhead logo, and then that's when it kind of goes into the bootloader menu. You want to be in bootloader mode, which is holding this blue button down here and then connecting power to it. That'll put you into bootloader mode, and then as it says, it just goes through, and then it should show your device. You can select your device here, select the firmware version you want, and then update it from there. There's also, I believe, a 000 issue with Mac setups, if I'm not mistaken. Zen Studio on a Mac. So if you are running a Mac, that could be an issue as well. Where was it? I stare at this guide all the time, but I should know where these things are. Apple software update. Where is it? Yeah. I'm pretty sure you got a zero error. That type of error was for an Apple one too. It was something similar. I could be confused though. Should not be broken. You just got it. Open it like 20 to 30 minutes ago. Well, I mean, yeah. I think Charlie's hitting it on the head there. Very well could just be a bad USB cable. You could try to switch them, right? So you have one USB cable that goes from your switch to your Zen, one USB cable that goes from your switcher to your PC. If one works, swap them around and see if then that, the Zen works and the PC doesn't, or the PC works and the Zen doesn't. Just swap those cables around and that'll tell you if it's working or not. I think more than likely it's just a bad cable. You couldn't hard reset it, that's what you're saying. Your issue is on a Mac. Okay, so is the Run Mac on Run Zen Studio on a Mac guide, right? It's gonna run through all of that. It's a specific Mac version, so you'll need a firmware for the specific version of the Mac that you're using, right? That's usually what solves that. Here. Oops. I really should pin this, and it would be a lot easier, but here's the guide link. Let's see. Just running. If you know, you answer. But if you got banned on D2, would it be permanent or a couple weeks at first times? I don't know. Probably depends on what you get banned for. If it's for, you know, cussing out some 3-year-old that's trying to play, who knows, right? Hold on, when you were on the guide page, you didn't even go over the 0%. Would you need a new USB cable? Like I was saying, try to switch the USB cable and see if that's your issue. Absolutely. SPG, I just sent the link 2 seconds ago. Gotta scroll up and get it. Any cable you can use for that port. For the Prague port, it's a mini USB. So this should be big enough to see for you guys, but mini USB cable is your Prague port cable, and micro USB is your console PC port cable. Yeah, they're not proprietary cables. Although on the Zen store, right, the Cronus store, there is some high quality cables that you could benefit from having. But in the guide, it says that you should send it back if you've tried everything. You think you've tried everything to the best of your ability, hence why you're here. Good point. Let's see. Let me scroll back up and see what your original issue was, because I got lost. The 0.0 error on a Mac, right? So again, let's go back over to the guide. Zen on a Mac. Here, I'll give you the direct link, even though I'm sure Charlie already gave that to you. There's your Zen on a Mac link, right? So what you're gonna have to do, generally that error, I'm pretty sure comes from you running a standard, the standard firmware version, the standard Windows firmware version on these Mac, right? So you'll hit this link and then that'll download that specific Mac firmware version that you need. So make sure you are using the right firmware version for your specific version of your operating system for a Mac. But then you just go through everything. You know, it tells you how to run Boot Camp, how to install Windows 10 on Boot Camp, all of that stuff, right? It'll go through every single step for you. Is there a downside or performance difference from using emulator output versus leaving a controller plugged in on the left side of the Cronus? So having a controller plugged in is what sets your emulator. You have to you can't not have a controller plugged in. The setting the emulator output protocol doesn't emulate a controller for you, right? It just tells the Zen what you're trying to emulate as your controller, right? So if you plugged in an Xbox controller, it would set that to Xbox and so forth. So whatever controller you're trying to emulate needs to be plugged into the A1 port, and then that's what the output would be. Do you have to download a specific firmware version when you're just trying your standard Mac or once you're in the Windows app? I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I mean, just look. Step 1, step 2, like just go through it step by step. Do these as they come up, and you should be fine. Do you know how much delay using a keyboard and mouse adds? I don't think it's any. Yeah, I don't think you get any input delay. Oh, there you go. Charlie confirms there is none. Unless you're using remote play. That is true. But then it's not the keyboard and mouse adding the delay. It's using remote play that's adding the delay. Which is attributed to your internet and things of that nature. So lots of variables when using remote play. You have the G915, so you don't even use keyboard and mouse. TK, I don't know. Then why are you asking if keyboard and mouse adds a delay? I'm not sure what you mean there. You can see why you work at this level of customer service things for the real value. Yeah, of course. The game packs on this website are like the recent game packs and tell you how to do it. Your own controller. All right, okay, so yeah, this is the guide. These are the guides for the game packs that are in Zen Studio. So the exact same ones. If you want to go to Call of Duty, you can pick the Call of Duty game pack you want. You can click on to it, and this is the actual guide for that game pack. Each game pack has a guide to it. It tells you how to set it up. It tells you what every setting does, and in great detail. You know, anti-recoil, aim assist, how to set it up, what should your fire, what should your step be, you know, everything. It goes through all of it. But yeah, every game pack has a guide. These are all the 32-bit game pack guides, though. Oh, there's still some 16-bit ones in here too. What else do we got? Come on. I know you guys have more questions. Yeah, you're very welcome. They are a great resource, though. Definitely check them out if you're curious on what one setting does or a different setting does, or how to set something up. You know, even the mouse and keyboard specific game packs have their own guides and things like that. So these guys work very hard to not only create these game packs, but to put the guides together. So definitely give them a read. When you click onto that momentary section, what exactly do you download? Momentary section. So we're still on the mouse and keyboards for, or I'm sorry, the Mac. Comes in on the Mac. So you come down here. These links are different firmwares, right? Different firmware. So if you have this version of Mac OS, right, then you're going to want to use this firmware that you'll be able to download from this link. Right? Download it. Well, yeah, it's your the CM, the Collective Minds update tool, right? The firmware tool for that, and then and it gives you the tool to update that firmware to the Mac firmware for the Zen. Monterey is the Mac update. Yeah, so you would download this one, right? This link. Hit that link. It'll open a zip file. There's the Collective Minds update tool 10.app in there. In its contents, it has all of the stuff, right? All the frameworks, blah, 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 blah. And then you have the Collective Minds update tool 10.app. You'd run that in your Zen. There's only one Mac firmware tool. There's a bunch of options in the zip. Yeah, those are all the files that you need for the update. There's one update tool in the zip though. Right? Mac updater tool. If you're having trouble using Zen firmware, right? So you just click it, it'll, it'll run through the whole thing for you. And obviously that's just for is there a video guide on how to do that? Because you've downloaded it, but now you're confused on what to hit in the zip. You hit, let me see. It should just say Collective Minds update tool .app or something like that. Excuse me. Contents. Oops, I don't want to do that. And like I said, you still need to install Windows to run Zen Studio. If you're on a Mac using the M1 Mac, you will need to download and run the Mac OS Monterey version updater tool linked below. The Windows version of the tool will not run correctly even when running Parallels on Windows. I don't think, oh yeah, here is this. I think this is just for boot camp, but yeah, it's just that's for after you have it all set up, obviously. You know, once you're ready to run the firmware version of the Zen, update the firmware of the Zen. I will say that I'm not the most advanced Mac user. I don't even have a Mac, but I mean, this should run you right through it. It'll reboot, activate your Windows. Once it's installed, Apple software update. Program your Zen firmware. Does that link back? That links back to regular Zen firmware though. But yes. Is there a way to make a PS5 not disconnect every 15 minutes? There's several ways actually. So we're going to go back to the guide here. If I go to choose your system and I go to PS5, there are 4 ways. 1, 2, 3, 4. Specialty mode. So what specialty mode is, when you're playing old PS4 games or some very old PS5 games, you can use specialty mode, or the PS4 version of PS5 games. You can use specialty mode, which basically just uses the PS4 controller to emulate. It doesn't work on any new games. It doesn't work on any new PS5 games. Then there's online remote play, which uses a software to connect your Zen to your PS5 via remote play. The downside to that is it can be a little laggy because it's, you know, based on your internet connection, right? So the better your internet connection is, the better that will do. There's local remote play, which uses the B-Loader Pro device, and that connects to remote play still, but it does it locally, so there's no input lag. It's not as dependent as the online remote play is. And then there's the new PS5 beta. So with the new Zen firmware and Zen Studio, they figured out a way to connect directly to the PS5 without remote play. So that's in beta right now, but everyone is good to use it. There's a video with Charlie there on how to set it all up. But that is the route you're going to want to go. One of those options, depending on what you got, what you're playing. Is there a specific script for Xbox controller? Because the script you're using, only the anti-recoil works, but you can't adjust the recoil for each weapon separately. Is there anything you are missing? What game are you playing? I would use the game packs rather than scripts personally, right? So if you go over to Zen Studio, you go to your programmer tab, there's all your game packs there, right? Say it's Warzone, I already have it here. You just click it and drag it down to here. You can open your GCI menu here and set some things there, but then there's several options in Zen Studio as well. Or sorry, in your actual Zen OLED menus that let you adjust recoil values, let you set all of the different configurations and mods that you want to use. But again, depends on the game you're using, the game you're playing, and all of that jazz. Best one for Apex. My opinion is, let's see, Weapon Master AI. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, the Apex Weapon AI Season 17. 32-bit. That would be my personal suggestion. Go over to our game packs. Let's see. Where Legends AI Season 17 32-bit. Yep, that's the one I would use. And then you can go to your anti-recoil. Tells you how to use everything, how to set them all up. They're even doing some awesome stuff with base recoil values in Discord. If you go into the Apex Legends Discord, I think a lot of the folks there, including the developers, are setting up a spreadsheet of what recoil values you should use for your specific settings, like your specific sensitivities. So they're we've seen a lot of people paying for spreadsheets and things like that, and these guys are making a lot of money off people that just want their recoil values given to them. So it's kind of a community effort, I think, that they're doing over there to get all of the recoil values onto a spreadsheet for the base recoils that will make it super easy for you guys. PUBG. I'm pretty sure there's a PUBG game pack. There is. PUBG Season 21 32-bit. There's your PUBG game pack. This is the one I would recommend for you. They're not, I know you asked for Xbox, but they're not console specific, so it would work for Xbox, PlayStation, whatever the case may be. So yeah, give that one a shot. And again, if you need the guide, just find it over here. PUBG Season 21 32-bit game pack, and there's all of your anti-recoil for every gun, all your primary and secondary weapons profiles. Just make sure that all that stuff matches up. All right, we're an hour in here. What else do we got? What do you got for me? right. If you guys don't got anything extra, I'm going to end the stream. Last call. I plan on doing more of these, so if anything pops up, we can keep going, but PS5 remote disconnects every 15 minutes. It shouldn't. If you're set up correctly, are you using, let's see. Are you using remote player? Are you using, the online remote player? Are you using local remote play with the B loader? But also you might want to give the new, the new PS5 beta option a try. No remote play at all. Yes, Droxy, go for it. Go ahead. Throw your questions out there. A1 slot. So your A1 slots for your controller that you're either passing through or that you're using to play the game. Aim assist and strength fire, ADS step fire difference. Yeah, so we'll just look at it in the COD game pack. But let's go Warzone 32-bit. So this will tell you exactly what. See these guides over here. It tells you what ADS strength is, what fire strength is, what step is, what fire step is. It gives a good baseline of what to use, right? So basically the strength is when you're aiming down your sights and you're not firing, how fast that pattern that traces with aim assist goes, right? Whereas strength or fire strength is when you're firing, how fast is that? So you can set, like if you're using a sniper or something or a super long range gun and you don't want aim assist to be on when you're just ADSing, you could turn your ADS strength all the way down, but then it'll kick in once your fire strength is high enough, it'll kick in while you're firing, right? And then the step is how fast that pattern rotates while it's active, basically. Now this update came out and we're allowed to use wired Astros headset or still have to use Bluetooth connection headset. I don't know if they added any specific headsets. I don't think they added any specific headsets. Honestly, it's always recommended to use a USB or a Bluetooth or USB headset that's connected directly to your console rather than passing any audio through your Zen. Because passing audio through your Zen, it's very slight, but it slows it down a little bit. It makes it think, it has to process that audio. So the more things you can have your console doing, the better. You're in Zen Studio and your prog cable is connected and you still can't get into the programmer. It's grayed out and says the bottom device connected but not responding. So if you're in Zen Studio, right, you're probably on this page if you can't get the programmer. Do you see your serial number down here in the bottom right? Or is your account connected over here on the far right? Anything like that? Do you see anything at all? what do you download that zip file to? Like which app? The studio or the updater or what? You just need to have it on your computer. It doesn't need to be in another folder. I'm pretty certain. So plug it into the front. So let's open this up. This A1 port here, if you're using, let me shrink that down just a little bit. If you're using a controller to play your game, and it's the controller that is for that console that you're playing on, or you're playing on PC and that's the controller you want to use, just plug it into A1 and go. If you're using say an Xbox controller on your PlayStation 5, you would plug your PlayStation 5 controller into A1 and your Xbox controller into A3 or A2, and that's how it passes through that signal, right? That's kind of how that works. Or your mouse and keyboard would go into A2, A3 if you're going that route too. Can't link your device registration with Discord, and Discord won't let you interact with the Cronus channels if it's not registered. What's not? Let's switch over here. So, have you created a forums account yet, Melissa? That's your first step, and then it all kind of flows from there. Did a hard reset and reset on Zen Studios. If you go back to the previous Zen firmware, beta 50, it works great and the programmer is fully functional. Okay. I mean, do you need to be on the new version? You got your serial number, or just flash it. Okay. Do you play PS5? Yeah, Melissa, no worries. It should flow for you from there. Daryl, do you play PS5? But when you go to programmer, it goes to 0 and the Zen flash box. You are on PS5. Okay. So what I would do in that case, where is that guide? It's not going to be an exact guide for that. Oh, actually, it's in Zen Studio. So if you go up to your Zen Studio and you go to Reset Zen Studio, that's going to erase all of the old files in your Zen Studio and kind of let you do a fresh install and see if that helps you out. See if that fixes that issue for you. Give that a shot. Anything else? Like I said, I plan to do a few more of these this week, and maybe every other day or something we'll hop on a stream and do some live troubleshooting like this. I think it's pretty helpful for everybody. Last call one more time. All right. And Daryl, if that doesn't work for you, you can make a ticket in Discord. You've done that and it still hasn't helped. Okay, Daryl. Yeah, make a ticket in Discord. and let's get the get the developers to look on that for us. Cool. Well, we are gonna end it here. Thanks everybody for hopping on and trying to work through this stuff and sticking with us, and hopefully we can get some more things answered for you. Like I said, we will do more of these live streams and keep them coming. So have a great night, everybody, and we'll talk later. Thanks, everyone. Bye.